BoxWorks, the document management company, as
Yep.
sometimes they like to say, had their annual event. They had already made an announcement of generative AI. I think they're one of the best companies of visually showing the benefits to customers. So, gosh, what else was there to bring out at BoxWorks, Mel?
Box Hubs was really their big announcement. So the Box Hubs was really kind of using generative AI for content distribution to specific audiences. So if you kind of look at, I think you actually compared it to like a SharePoint,
Yeah.
but easier to use and really specific to being able to share documents or groups of documents to specific users for their workflows. So keeping, and what Box is really good at is security, keeping documents contained within the areas where it needs to be kept and secure within that kind of that fence, even if it's within a company, only certain employees can have permissions for it. But then within that, they can now, like with Box AI tools, can provide that content summarization and search capabilities. So they're taking that kind of that SharePoint, and don't want to give it like assign a different brand to it, but that sort of style of their hub, but then adding AI to it to really make that content useful. And one of the things that Box has really been working on is figuring out how to make content more useful, because that's really what they have, is a ton of content. That's where people store their content, is within Box. But with generative AI, they can make that content, a lot of it unstructured, more useful. And one thing, I actually tweeted this because I thought it was really like just a really simple thing. But Aaron Levy, who's the CEO of Box, said, "We believe that nowhere is AI more powerful than with enterprise content, i.e. documents. You know what's inside of documents? Lots of words. What's the power of LLM? Processing and understanding words." It's like, how simple is that, right? But that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking documents, they're putting them in hubs, they're allowing certain people to access these hubs, they're making it really easy for people to create those hubs. I don't like the word curate, but that's the word they're using. Curate these hubs. They're making it really simple to add permissions for people to be able to access them and even be able to search the content even if you can't access them. So
Mhm.
you're able to kind of access that enterprise information without getting any sort of like personal information. So like HR can be fully locked down. You're not going to get people's salary. You can't search like how much does Sally make or whatever, that kind of thing. But you're able to then use the AI to search and process all of these words, and you get more out of that unstructured data.
Yeah, I think it was a good breakdown. And, I look at hubs and I think of SharePoint and then what Microsoft has kind of evolved with Teams. And yeah, it really is a hub for any way you want to slice it, right? You want to slice it by um, you want to slice it by topic, you want to slice it by project, you want to slice it by group. Do that and do it very quickly. And it has the same security features as was set up with the document itself. So it makes sense. It's expected. I know the company is making progress on going GA on many of its generative AI features. They just signed or re-upped or extended their collaboration with the folks over at Google Cloud. So yeah, Aaron Levy and the company are making it happen.
Mhm.
And again, potential to be disrupted by startups, and then potential to be disrupted by the larger companies like Microsoft, even Adobe, and Google. But Aaron and the leadership team just keep it going.
Yeah, and I think just one last thing is they introduced an interesting pricing model for their AI functionality, which is sort of like this credit system but it allows for kind of a shared pool of credits. So even though each user has a certain amount of credits, when those credits expire, or when those credits are not expire, when those credits are used, they can pull from additional credits that are shared by the organization. So, you're always going to have kind of power users within the organization, and then you're going to have users that maybe, do 1 or 2 queries a month. So it's not like an organization then has to choose, well, is this user using it enough to warrant a license? Like if we're looking at the $30 per user per month type of license. So I think it's a smart way for them to price that, where everybody can have access to it, but the power users can actually not get cut off at a certain number. It also doesn't expose them to this, huge cost if they have a ton of power users, because they're using up their credits, and there's a point at which it says like, okay, your credits are done, then you have to buy more.